Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Narrated by Disney, or Lucasfilm. Whichever way you slice it. Legends. I am currently sick, and because of that, my work has to get back to me on whether or not I can work or not, because, the C word. I'm pretty sure it's just a cold, though. The other C word. I just have a runny nose and a cough. So if I cough a little bit or whatever during this, I apologize. But I finished all the things I wanted to talk about, and I am dedicated. So I figured I'd do this review for you. Plus, I like doing it when it's fresh in my mind. I probably won't go into spoilers that much, if at all, but I will mention everything chronologically where it's placed, what I thought about it, and leave you be. Starting with the episode 2 novelization. Now, of course, I wasn't going to really do an in-depth review of it because it's just episode 2, which you can watch. There are some nice additions to it. For example, Owens and Shmi. We get actually a few chapters with the Owen family and Shmi before she gets captured by the Tusken Raiders, which was a nice little addition. And there's some, there are some additional Jango scenes that we get to see in the book as well, which are also very nice, including getting to see how he felt about killing Zam Wessel, because he was not happy about it. And then we move on. There is 2 Toys R Us comics, again, that I did not read, but I think are in the Menace Revealed Omnibus, which is Machines of War and the Most Precious Weapon. I don't have too much to say about them because I didn't read them. Most Precious Weapon has to do with Dooku after he leaves fighting Anakin and Obi-Wan and Yoda, and he, gets out of there. It's a little story, but on his way of escaping that, I guess. As for Machines of War, which comes before the one I just mentioned, is just like Yoda talking to the clone troopers before they head over to help during the Battle of Geonosis. And then we move on to Boba Fett, the title of this video. The first one, A Fight to Survive by Terry Bisson. We basically just have the first half of it is kind of a retelling of the movie, which is fine. And sorry, I was wrong. The stuff with Zam happens in this book. But overall, it's just a retelling, and it's okay. Really, what was cool was once we finally got off of the movie, and we got to stuff that we hadn't seen, like how did Boba get off of Geonosis by himself? How did he do this and that? Like, all that stuff was actually pretty interesting. That being said, the writing style is, I guess maybe I'm spoiled with Jedi Apprentice and Jedi Quest. It's not that I was being talked down to. I mean, these are meant for kids in school, but it felt dumbed down. I don't know if that makes sense. The writing felt very dumbed down. Like, sorry about that. I'm currently at my friend's house, so. Yeah, it was decent. We also have Star Wars Insider number 179, Death in the Catacombs. This focuses on some Jedi Padawan at Geonosis a couple days after the battle. Like, literally, 2 days after. It's okay. It's nothing special. You're not missing anything if you skip it. But if you want more Star Wars, that is something you can read. After that, we have a cooler Star Wars Insider, which is, I forget which Star Wars Insider was in, because I apparently didn't write it down because I'm a stupid dummy. But it's ELUSION ELUSION by Michael Stackpole. Now, this is just a fun little short story with AURRA sing, but we do get to see either a grandfather or father to Corin Horn in this, which is very, very cool because, of course, it's Michael Stackpole. So that was awesome. We also have Tales, Star Wars Tales, I know, number 17, Dark Journey. And there is a Jedi searching for a serial killer. And there's a twist at the end. It was actually a pretty decent comic. One thing I noticed was the art style, which is very, very different. And it looks like a child wrote it, but it's on purpose. I instantly recognized who drew this, because this guy has a very specific art style. Anybody who may be a fan of a different series, a video game series, and has read or watched the extended stuff, or read the comic books, it's not a big universe, it's not as expansive as Star Wars, there's only a couple things added on top of the video games. But there's a series called Dead Space, which is a sci-fi horror series. And he wrote a comic book issue that took place before the events of the first game in the same art style. This guy has a very specific art style. Now, while it looks simple and kind of childish, it does give off this always oppressive atmosphere, this very dark and dreadful atmosphere. And so for what it was, a little Star Wars Tales, it was pretty decent. I don't necessarily like the art, I just like the mood that it gives off. But anyway, it'll be about there. Fett. Boba Fett Book 2. He joins AURRA Singh. And so that's cool. And that's pretty much all that happens in there. He's with Count Dooku for a bit. Count Dooku betrays him. He heads off with AURRA to go do stuff in the third book, without getting into spoilers very much. Not that there's too much to spoil in it. After this, special note, since I'm doing everything in chronological order, games included, and TV shows, so more than Matt Wilkins did, about here, sorry, after reading book 2 of the Boba Fett book, or the young adult book, you would read Clone Wars, the 2003. You would watch Clone Wars 2003 by Tartakovsky, episodes 6 to 7. Episodes 6 to 7 are the episodes where Ventress becomes Dooku's apprentice. And so that would be placed right about here. And then, oh, you hear that? Sorry about that. After this, we have Star Wars Insider, 76 and 77, Changing Seasons 1 and 2, by Timothy Zahn. This is, it feels like a 2008 Clone Wars episode. Obi-Wan goes to his planet, he meets some farmers, they hang out for a bit, he feels bad for them, and they take down this separatist thing going on the planet. The only one weird thing about this comic was Shmi's death year. Maybe it was the version I was reading, because I got it off the internet, maybe it was a typo, or maybe it was actually in the short story. But it says it's been 12 years since Shmi died, when the Clone Wars is only a 3-year conflict. So I'm guessing typo, either on where I was reading it from's part or Zahn's part, because there's no way. This is a recent event for Anakin. Even if you place this short story in the very last year of the war, that would still only be 3 years ago. And you usually don't be like, oh, his mother died years ago. Like, you wouldn't say that, because it's 3 years is not that long ago. So that was a bit weird. Well, I'm sorry. But overall, it was okay. Lastly, we have Boba Fett 3, Mesa Deceptions. We got a new writer for this one. I forgot her name. I'll mention it next time we review a Boba Fett book. I apologize. He goes to this big banking place, obviously run by the Muns. And AURRA wants half of Boba Fett's money. Adventures ensue here, and Boba Fett escapes Aurra Sing. With all of his money, who knows? You have to read to find out. But this one was much, much better. I really, really enjoyed this one. Much more than the previous two. I think the writing is just absolutely better. I don't know if Terry just didn't care. He was just doing it for the paycheck. But whoever wrote this, I just felt like there's some genuine effort put in there. There's also a really big coincidence in here, which I think is an accident, because I think this was written way before the game was even an idea. I could be wrong about that. But Boba sees another clone that's about his age. And he gives him his designation, and Boba comes up with a fake designation called, and says he's number 1313. Now, if this came out before the thing, that's a really strange but cool connection by accident, or like little Easter egg. And if it was already kind of in talks in the works, I mean, that would make sense, but I don't think that was the case, which I just found really cool. But also Gorja the Hutt, one of Jabba's nephews, makes an appearance, so that's interesting. But yeah, sorry, I'm dying, so I'm glad I was able to keep it together mostly for this review. But yeah, I enjoyed all this, and I hope you will too, and I hope you'll continue to join me as we go through the expanding universe together. But anyway, guys, if I talk any longer, I'm going to kill myself, so until next time, guys, may the Force be with you.